Brad said 10 minutes, and he also said I'll be recorded, so. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Amy Meyer, and I was recently elected to recorder in Madison County. It's no longer recorder of deeds, it's actually recorder because we record more than just deeds. A lot of people don't know what the recorder does, so I'm going to take just a few minutes to kind of tell you what our office does. In some counties, the recorder and the clerk's office are together. In Madison County, because of the size of our county, the number of people that live here, the recorder's its own separate office. So I have about 10 people in my office, ladies, that when someone comes up to our counter or when they mail in a document, we record those documents. Now the documents that come into our office are all documents that pertain to land. So if you own land in Madison County, you have a document in the recorder's office that's got your name on it that shows the chain of title of your land. And so we have people that come into our office every day that do title searches that want to make sure that if there's an exchange of property, that the owner is appropriate and that whoever's selling it really has good title to it. Now also, sometimes people don't cut their grass, they don't do what they're supposed to do, and they get liens against their property. And I know that we have someone that comes into our office frequently for that. So we also handle liens, and then any notices of foreclosure or anything like that that comes through our office, we handle that as well. So basically, any document that's tied to land, it should come through our office. And if it doesn't, somebody's not doing their job. And then when it does, we record it. Our office is the front line of defense, really, for making sure that documents that come in are not fraudulent. And our ladies have, we examine them, and we make sure that everything's right. And if something doesn't look quite right, we take the next step. And we have been able to identify some documents that were fraudulently passed to our office. So that's another thing that we are working on. We have a fraud program, a fraud alert program, and citizens in Madison County can contact our office and ask to be put on the fraud alert program. If anything occurs with your property, you're then made aware of it by our office, which is good because and we really encourage the elderly people in our community to do that because they are often, unfortunately, targets of property fraud schemes. We see oftentimes documents that come through the mail that say it's from the Land Records Office, and for $89 you can get a copy of your deed. Well, you usually don't need a copy of your deed, and if there's an issue with it, you can come to our office and pay $12 and we'll give you one. Or if someone receives one of those fraudulent documents, we'll go ahead and give them a copy gratis so that they know that this is not, you can get a copy of your deed, there's nothing wrong with your property. So that's what we do in our office is we take those records in. Additionally, we index and we maintain those records because if you can't find what's in them, then it's really no good for people doing a title search. Now the way our office indexes them and the way that land records are historically indexed, at least on this side of the Mississippi River, is by grantor and grantee. And what I did is I brought, Brad said that some of you guys are into history and that you like trivia and things like that. So what I did is I brought some of our old books. These are books from the 1850s. Madison County at one time was a land territory, and if you look at some old maps, Madison County was like the whole side of the state. And as the county slowly started to develop, Madison County eventually came to its regular, what we see now as Madison County. But we have land records in our office, and I'm going to pass some of them out. You guys can look at them. Not just land records, but we have historical documents relating to our service individuals, men and women that were here in the Civil War. So if you guys want to pass those around, now those are kept under lock and key. Everything within our vault it's all fireproof. And those are not redacted. Now when a person comes in nowadays to file their discharge papers or DD-214, we make sure that there's no information that's put on those records that would be subject to public disclosure, like Social Security numbers or anything like that. But this kind of gives you an idea of some of the historical records that we have in our office. And then, additionally, in taking those records, we have to maintain the records that we keep. And the way that our office maintains the records is the really, really, really old ones are still in the books. And I have some of these books up here. These books are no longer necessary in our vault, which is why I have them out of the vault, because the information in here has been transcribed already, and we have them in other books. But they're really neat to look at because you can see the original paper, you can smell them for sure, and the handwriting is pretty incredible. At one point in time, the recorders, one of the requirements of the recorder was to have very neat penmanship, and you can see in these books that they definitely did. So we have old records that are on paper, and here's some pictures of our vault. Our vault is a big room that we have in the courthouse, and I like to call it the coolest place in Madison County, because it is most definitely the coolest place in Madison County. We have our own independent air conditioning unit, so the temperature is always nice in our vault because we want to make sure that all of our records are properly maintained at the right temperature. So we have some records that are kept on in the documents like that, and we are currently redoing our vault. Here's some more pictures of our vault, and I'm going to pass around here some pictures of our staff and vault as well, our ladies that work in our office. So our oldest records are on paper, then we have records that are on microfilm, then we have records that are on microfiche, then we have records that are also digitized. So they're in like a big cloud in the sky. But the importance of that is we want to make sure for our society too that we can trace our land records, because if you can't, you got anarchy if you don't know who owns what. So I mean that's another reason why I think the recorder's office is very important when you get down to the base of it. When I came into the recorder's office, my first thing I wanted to do was make sure that we were good for business. And that means that our documents process through as quickly as possible. So my goal when I came in was if you bring me something today before 3 o'clock, I want to make sure that it's recorded on that day. And that's what we do, and we are improving our software. We're getting ready to switch over to a new software, which I believe is cutting edge, and will allow us to do that. We're going to do a switch in about 3 weeks with our software. But the other thing that I wanted to do, in addition to that, was to have value-added services for what we do in the recorder's office. Because in my heart, I just think it's really cool, some of the stuff that we have back there. And this area in general is just full of so much history. If you come into the vault in our office, and it's open to the public, and if anybody wants to do a search on their land, we have people that will assist with it and get you started on it. But once you start opening the books, it's amazing what you will find. I have another book back here. My family was in Madison County for a long time, and they were farmers. And back in the day, you actually registered your farm name. So I have a book up here that has all of the early farm names in Madison County. And it's really neat to take a look at and see what some of the names were. I also have a book up here which lists all of the stock in Madison County. And that's from the 1850s, because in the 1850s we didn't have a lot of fences throughout Madison County, so there was a lot of free-range stock. So when you look through this book of livestock, you'll see that people would come into the county recorder's office and they would register their stock, and it would say it's a heifer or a gelding with a star and a white stocking or a clip on its ear or whatever, with the price or the appraised value of the stock and the approximate address of where it was. We also have land records, survey records from Madison County when Madison County was first surveyed in the 1870s. We also, 1850s actually. And we have all the road records for Madison County. Hold on, let's see if I've got plats. We also have plats of every subdivision that's occurred in Madison County since it started to be subdivided. So I have some of these. Most of these in our office are already digitized, which is great for us because they're easy to access. We also have a paper copy, but you can come up and look at any of these. And it's really neat. I live in an older neighborhood in Alton, and you can pull up the plat of the neighborhood and see just how it was all laid out. And it's really interesting when you go back and see a lot of the towns were subdivided. Like Alton actually had, I believe, 4 different towns. So there's Upper Alton and North Alton, and but any place that you go within the county and you start looking back, you see just an incredible history through the land records. So I encourage people to come and check that out. We are going to start opening our vault up for groups to come in after hours. So I'll be making sure that everybody's aware of that. We also have a Facebook page, which you can check out, and we are improving our website. The other thing that I want to do is make sure that everybody has access to information, because, and not just the historical information, but the current information that's happening in Madison County, because I think you can look at trends from the documents coming into the recorder's office and kind of get an idea of what's happening in the county property-wise. And we are going to make those available online in the very near future. We have graphs. What we're seeing with our graphs is that in Madison County, there is a very slow and steady rise with properties that are being transacted as far as the deeds go, things changing hands. Part of that could be because interest rates are low and there's a lot of people that are making changes to different things, but we are seeing the deeds of conveyance rise. We are seeing the foreclosures go down, which is a good sign, and we've been seeing it happen consistently, up about 100 documents over last year's numbers each month. So that's a good thing. At least we think it bodes well. So that's kind of what we do in the recorder's office. In addition to keeping track of the records, when I came in, I wanted to make sure that I did what I could to help veterans out. And so I really want to spread the word that if you come into our office, we keep the veterans' records, we keep your DD-214s. There's going to be changes in the law that are going to allow you to get that designation on your driver's license in the future. So you want to make sure that you have them. And I'm going to show you what we give you, and there's no cost. So if you come into our office, somebody from my staff will come up, and they will get your information. Just show up with your identification. Come back a few days later, or we can mail it to you, and with no charge, you get a copy of a card to put in your wallet and your DD-214s. But you don't get them laminated. And if you do ever get them, please don't laminate them, because we can't do anything with them. You'll get the card laminated, but not the DD-214. So these are things that we're trying to get people to come in, the veterans to come in right now and do, and also to make sure that veterans, as soon as they get out, that they come in and register them in our office, record them in our office. Additionally, if we have a veteran that maybe moved to Madison County from somewhere else, come in immediately and record your documents so that we've got them. And we're working with Brad's office to digitize some of the service records that we have there. Because what our office does, we have the tools. We have great tools there to be able to scan documents and to scan plats that are this wide and to do mass scannings of bulk documents. But we don't have to do that all the time. So what we have done thus far is we have allowed the library district, Hainer Library, we have digitized records for them, big maps that they were otherwise looking for grants for, and we are looking for library districts or non-taxing districts that we can do that for within the county, because we do have those big scanners. And we are working with Brad so that he can have all of the veterans' records in his office digitized. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to do to add value to my position, besides just making sure that everything gets recorded.